Chapter 1 General Requirements Application Rules Special Instructions Employee must know to comply with the rules, instructions, and procedures given to the government. The duties must comply with the instruction of the supervisor with uncertainty. Employees must take the safe course and contact the supervisor for clarification when the rules and special instruction conflict. The following apply. The special instruction supersedes the rules. Dispatcher message supersedes special instructions and rules. Form EC1 instructs supersedes the dispatcher message. Special instructions and rules. 103. 103. When duty employees must have the rule book, special instructions that in effect available for the use. 104. Before entering using dispatch control area tracks, each employee, foreign line, and employee operating the CSX track must be in possession of his or her own copy of the following documents: rule book specified with the system bulletin, applicable timetable instruction system bulletins, and applicable division bulletins. 105. CSX employee performing service in foreign line tracks governed for the foreign line must carry the rules, timetable, special instruction of that line. 106. The rule book of the timetable is reissued and amended to supersede all previous versions on the effective date and the time. The employee must obtain the copy, verify the document is complete, have the documents available for use. 101. System division bulletin notice. But before beginning, the employee must determine if any of the bulletin notices have been issued since the last tour of duty. Read and comply with all the bulletins that affect their tour of duty, and read and comply with the information contained in the notices. 101. 101.2. The following applies to the bulletin. System bulletin implement any change to the rules and system-wide operating practice. 2. Division bulletins implement changes to the timetable, special instruction. 3. The procedural instructional manual implements changes to the training, dispatching, operation procedures. 101.3. System division bulletins notice will be numbered consecutively, expiring at 23 and 100 hours 59. 1 minute to 0 hours the last day, March, June, September, December. Be issued necessary effective at one past the 0 hours. The first day of January, April, July, and October. 102 CSX Standard Time. CSX Standard Time is equivalent to the United States Eastern Time using the 24-hour clock system. CSX Standard Time can be determined by the time displayed on the dispatching system, contacting the control station, calling RNX 388 5000 or the bell 904-381 5000. Employees governed of the timetables dispatcher message form. The EC1 must carry must carry a watch that indicates the hours, minutes, and seconds. Must not lose gain in more than 1 minute and a half. 1 minute and 12-hour period. Employees who are required to carry the watch must verify the watch is set to the CSX Standard Time before beginning work activity. Is ranking employee of the crew, the working group, to set his or her watch to the CSX Standard Time. Other members of the crew working on the group are set their watches so the ranking to that of the ranking employee. 103 CSX and property interest. 103.1. Employees must keep the CSX electronic devices, tools, keys, and other property in safe, clean, and working condition available for the use of the required and protected against unauthorized use and theft. 103.2. Do not use CSX equipment, communication system, unnecessarily unauthorized personnel business. 103.3. The unauthorized possession, removal, disposal of any material of the CSX property from the property of the customers is prohibited. Any article found in the CSX property must be protected and returned into the supervisor. 103.4. Employees must return to the CSX property when leaving the service and upon demand of the supervisor. 103.5. Employees must not notify the supervisor when having the knowledge of activities proposed with the public and private interest that would affect the CSX and encroachment of the CSX property. 103 unauthorized for the property authority. Employee must A. divulge company affairs, B. furnish information detrimental to the interests of the company as its customers. Unless authorized proper authority, employee must not permit access to the company records, provide information with the incident of the public. And 103.7. Employees must not restrict, interfere with the intended functions of any device or equipment. B. Post unauthorized information on CSX property. C. Deface or destroy CSX property. D. Place trash, refuse anywhere except the appropriate receptacles. E. The read literature unrelated to the work on duty. F. Possess a firearm other than a weapon when on duty. The CSX property when occupying the facilities provided with the CSX unless authorized. 103.8. The employee who is involved in the on-duty accident incident must provide all issued documents of the form EC1 to the supervisor. 104 Employee Behavior. 104.1 When duties employees must devote themselves exclusively to the service of CSX. 2. The assist cooperative with the employees perform duties in a safe, sufficient manner with the prevent unnecessary delay to the customers. 4. Promptly report violation of the rules, special instructions to the supervisor. 5. Take the safe course if the conditions are not covered by the rule. 104.2 The employee behavior must not be respectful, courteous. Employee must not be any of the following: dishonest, insubordinate, disloyal, or quarrelsome. 104.3 The following behaviors are prohibited while on duty at the CSX property when occupying facilities provided with the CSX: boisterous, profane, vulgar language, altercations, practical jokes, or horseplay, careless, impatience, willful neglect of duties, behavior that endangers the life of the or property. 104.4 The following behaviors are prohibited at all time: concealment of the fact that under investigation, be the criminal conduct that may damage CSX reputation, endanger CSX property, employees, or customer, or public. Employees responsible for the action. Employees under the instruction that must verify that those employees are familiar with their duties, provide the proper instruction. 104.6 The employee must report to the work at the designated time and place. Employees unable to work who want time off must make the request to proper authority and sufficient in advance to allow the vacancy to be filled. Employees must have the permission of the supervisor to leave work before designated off-duty times. Arrange substitutes to perform their duties. Unusual use personal vehicle to perform assigned duties. Request assistant for the non-employee to perform assistant duties. Assigned duties except in the case of emergency. 104.8 Employees must follow the information current with the CSX mailing address and phone number. 104.9 Employees subjected to call for the performance service must provide necessary contact information with the proper authority, be available to accept the call. 104.10 Pay must only be claimed for actual time work performed by the employee to be paid. The employee authorized to make claims to the crew or group of workers in accordance with agreed upon procedures. 104.11 Employee must not engage in any other type of work or the business interferes with the employee's ability to perform the service with CSX, creates a conflicting interest with the detrimental CSX. 104.12 An employee must submit the completed with the MD3 attending a physical physician's return to the work report. The CSX Medical Department to the fax 904-245-3967 must not return to the work until cleared in the duty of the medical department by any time of the employee has been off the medical reason for 7 consecutive days or more, has been hospitalized due to significant illness, C has surgical intervention, has medical use issues that could influence the employee's performance on the safety of the job. 105 Reporting conditions. 105.1 Project trains and track equipment against the knowing of the knowledge condition for the interfere with the safe operation immediately with the report of the following conditions with the proper authority: accidents, defects on track, bridge, signal, highway, railway crossing, warning device, fires near the right-of-way, loss, damage, and theft of the CSX customer property, any condition that may affect the safe and efficient operation. 105.2 The employee who observed the defect of the highway, railway crossing, warning devices does not have the access to railroad radio must contact the Public Safety Coordination Center via the telephone 1-800-232-0144 and provide the requested information. 105.3 The employees must provide with the following applicable type of defective information to the train dispatcher when reporting the defective brakes, hot journals, defective couplers, or other defects: timetable, direction of the end of the car, the A, B, or end of the car, the coupler type E or F, the possible direct damage to the track switches, other structures, obstruction of the adjacent track. 106 Drug and Alcohol Rule G. 106.1 Illegal possession of the use of the drug, narcotic, and other substances for the effective alternates, coordination, reaction, response. Safety is prohibited both on and off duty. The employee who shall 106.2 The employee shall neither report nor duty nor perform the service while under the influence nor use of the duty of the CSX property of the drug, medication, prescription medication, or other substance that will adversely affect the employee's alertness, coordination, reaction, response, and safety. 106.3 Employees are prohibited from possessing, using, and being under the influence of alcohol, beverage, or intoxication when reporting for duty, on the duty, or on CSX property occupying facilities provided by CSX. 107 Using of tobacco products. When duty, employees must not use the tobacco products, including electronic cigarettes, when serving the customers. Uniformed employees are present for the customers or the public. Smoking includes electronic cigarettes is prohibited in all the following locations: CSX building except for the permitted in large mechanical shop areas, locomotive cabs, CSX vehicles, any vehicle that uses the transportation. CSX employees are designed by the areas designated no smoking signs and were prohibited by law. 108. Certification and license. Assignment of the requiring a certification and license must also be performed in employees who have been issued with required certification or license. Certification or license in their possession maintain required rule and territorial physical characteristics qualifications. Employees with a certification or license are subject to the applicable federal, state, and law regulations. 108.3. The employer that holding an FRA certification must report to the immediate supervisor certification center within 48 hours of the conviction and complete with the state action to cancel, suspend, deny their motor vehicle driver's license has the following motor vehicle incidents: operating a motor vehicle while under the influence of impaired alcohol or controlled substance, refusal undergoing tests required by state law with law enforcement seeking to determine when a person is operating the motor vehicle while under the influence of alcohol or controlled substances. 108.4. The FRA certified employee that has the knowledge that his or her best correctable vision or hearing is deteriorated with the extent of the employee no longer meets the vision and the hearing standards required by the federal regulations governing the certification, immediately notify his or her supervisor, CSX medical department, not perform the service that requires the certification until they do so with the CSX medical department. The FRA vision and the hearing requirement for the certification as follows: distant binocular acuity at least 20 to 40 Snellen both eyes with or without corrective lenses, distant view actuating at least 20 to 40 in each eye without corrective lenses, separated or corrected at least 20 to 40 in the corrective lenses, field vision at least 70 degrees of the horizontal meridian in each eye, ability to recognize and distinguish between the colors and road signals. Do not note that having an average hearing loss of the better ear greater than 40 decibels or 500 Hz, 1000 Hz, or 200 Hz, or without using the hearing aid. 109. Hours of Service Act and requirements. Employees who work activities subject to them to the Hours of Service Act have the required mandatory rests, inform the property authority before accepting any of the call of work when they require the report of duty with completion of the mandatory test period. Report to the proper authority in accordance with the maximum limits of Hours of Service Act that has exceeded. Accurately complete the Hours of Service documentation while required information of the prescribed format. 109.2. Employees who have placed their under the requirement to train in engine hours of service. 1. Report the proper authority interruption of mandatory undisturbed rest periods, including the rest of the interrupted, name of the person interrupting the rest and circumstance of the interruption. While going on duty, notify the train dispatcher 264 hours of duty or 25 hours total of the qualifying limbo time with the calendar month that has been reached. Notify the train dispatcher the 3 hours prior to the expiration of the hours and service limits. The notification must include whether or not the train is in key train. 110. Trains and on-track equipment. Locomotives and on-track equipment must be only operated by authorized personnel. 110. 2. Employees must be qualified physical characteristics of the territory which they are subject to work. Employees must pass the rule exam as required. Locomotive operation must pass a physical characteristics test as required. Transverse the territory once every 12 months. Conductors must pass a physical characteristics test as required of the traverse in the territory once every 24 months, and employ qualified engineering department and employee in charge must transverse in the territory once every 36 months. The following people are authorized to ride locomotives on the track: equipment employee, supervisor performing the assigned duties, including those assigned with the qualification, training purposes, federal, state, inspector who carrying out the president of the present proper credentials, other present persons who present proper authorization and identification. Employees must 110.4. Employees must ride in the operating cab to lead locomotive of the freight trains unless duties required otherwise. When sufficient seating is not available to all crew members in the operating cab of the lead locomotive, employees must contact the supervision for instruction. 110.5. The geometric car is operated with the locomotive. The crew member must ride in the geometric car when instructed to do so by engineering department supervisor. 111. Sleeping and napping while on the duty. Employees must not. 111.1. Employees must not sleep while on duty except the train engineering service employees who are allowed to nap. An employee lying down in the reclined position with the eyes covered or closed, covered, or concealed is considered to be sleeping or napping. Napping by training in the engine service employees is prohibited and interferes with the safety employees' performance with the required duties. The train locomotive is moving, or the C. Any member of the crew of the ground during the switch operations. D. Any employee is assisting the preparation of the train. E. Is causing the train to be delayed. F. The passenger commuter yard and single person assignments on the train handling alert high value other shipments that require rail inspection services indicated with the CSX train documentation and handling special automotive trains for the shutdown. 111.3 when on training and napping by the train engine service employees is allowed after all the following conditions have been met. It does not interfere with safety. Train and locomotive is stopped. The nap will not delay the train. If the train air brakes have been conditioned, and inspection of the passing train is required. No other employee on the ground assisting them preparation of the train. At least one crew member who will not nap must remain inside the cab of the controlling locomotive. Only one crew member naps at any given time. All crew agrees that if so, to do so, and nap does not exceed 45 minutes. 11.4 when on the duty, not on the train. Train and the engine service employees may nap when all the following conditions have been met. All required documentation have received and reviewed. The train performance of required duties is not delayed. All crew members are agreed that it is safe to do so. If the crew members will nap, and arrangements made by the third party who make up the crew and nap does not exceed 45 minutes. Other employees responsible for the immediate walking of the napping employee as soon as one of the following events occur. If the employee is required to perform the duties, train delays and expiration of 45 minutes. 111.6. Before beginning any working activities, an employee has napped. All crew members must hold the job briefing to review the dispatching bulletins, the form EC1 instructions, if applicable, authority for the movement and work to be performed. 112. The train and engine service employees and each crew member is equally responsible for the following: complying with all the rules, ensuring that the cars and locomotives receive the required inspection brake tests, provided the safe and efficient operating of the trains, keeping the operating cab of the locomotive clean and free of hazards, ensuring the train and the locomotive is equipped with the required supplies. 112. 2. Notify the train dispatcher of the following conditions: effects of the cars or locomotive scheduled stops to perform the work, any condition to delay the train movement. 112. 3. On the train's yard assignment, there are more than one employee. The conductor of the yard foreman is the ranking crew member. 112.4. The ranking crew member is responsible for the following: complying with the instruction switching card to the service customer, informing the crew members of the train dispatch of the car's brisk train movement for the required special handling, accurately reporting work for using electronic reporting tools when assigned, ensuring proper documentation for the train is obtained and is accurate. 112.5. The locomotive operation assigned with the key train must have their position obtained with the reverse prior to determining their own duty location. 112.6. Locomotives are stopped or will be left standing on the track. Consideration of the noise and fumes must be taken into account for the highway, bridges, offices, occupied passengers. And 113. Yardmasters. Yardmasters are responsible for the safe and efficient operation of the yard. They must understand the rules and duties of employees under the supervision, provide clear and concise instructions, and conform the instructions are understood. Make certain that the cars and locomotives receive required inspection properly. More defective equipment is repaired. Direct and record movement on the track equipment for their justification when providing the information related to the yard movements on the authorized personnel. Report the train master and train document are received. Prepare, updating the file, transmit the records recorded in accordance with the instruction. Immediately notify the supervisor of inspection performed in the federal, state, and public agencies. 13.2. Yardmaster must understand and comply with the rules, laws, and instructions governed by the handling of the hazardous materials, perishables, weighing, switching, interchanging of the cars, loading and clearance requirements of the various types of lading and the cars, special handling of the lading in the cars to prevent damage. 113.3. The yardmaster must notify the chief train dispatch not less than 12 hours in advance of the planned movement of the cars, requiring clearance of the Bureau instruction, restriction of the train movement, requiring special handling. 113.4. Yardmasters must make certain that employees under the supervision have received the job briefing and are ready for the duty at the appointed time. And 2. The furnish the necessary documentation. On 13.5. Before releasing a train, the yardmaster must make a certain car standing order is correct. Training that is properly classified hazardous material cars and cars requiring special handling are properly paced. Air brake tests and inspections are performed properly. Notification documentation is provided to the crew and train dispatch. Cars are not delayed and trains have the proper tonnage. 114. Operators. When coming on duty, the operator must read and understand transfer from the previous operator. Verify the transfer to the dispatcher with the operating being revealed is not present. Properly record following information. Report the train dispatcher arrival, the departure times, direction of the train movement offers, and the information is directed by the train dispatcher. 114.3. Operator the following devices directed by the train dispatcher: switches, bridges, control boards, and other devices are required. 114.4. Operators must inspect Inspect passing trains with the duties of the permit. The given performance of the train movements. Inform the train dispatcher approaching trains when signals are operated. Control report whether it's required. Regard communications confidential. Accept messages only relating to the company business signed by an officer. Promptly and accurately deliver the message. 114.5. Operating must not close the office end of the tour of duty without permission with the train dispatcher or permit unauthorized person in the office. Allow student operators to handle any of the business without supervision. 114.6. Before going on duty, the operator must create the transfer, the type of the written, and the ink contains the following dispatcher message authorized in effect. The block signals and switches messages to be delivered and other permit written information, including the unfinished business. 114.7. When an operator's station is closed, the line of the switch levers and apply the blocking so routes do not conflict. Place the signal levers in the position the signal displays in an aspect permitting movement. Lock the station. 115. Duties when providing flag protection for the worker locations. Employees assigned to provide flag protection for the worker location of the main track, signal tracks, and sidings must obtain a copy of the appropriate dispatcher message, inform the train dispatcher, and with equipment is protected with the location of the work, communicate with the train dispatcher necessary at least every 2 hours to obtain the train location information. 115.2. Employees that provided with the flag protection in the work locations have required flagging equipment not engaged with any of the related tasks. 115.3. Prior to performing any of the work, condition of the job briefing of the contract. The job briefing must confirm that the tracks are the tracks that are to be fouled and time work at the beginning and end. Understanding that the work must be stopped sufficiently in advance to prevent delay of the rail movements. Understanding that the work must not be performed outside the established limits. 15.4. 115.4. The employee must remain in the visual verbal contact with the contracting equipment, the verbal contact with the contracting employee in the charge to keep him or her fully advised of impending rail movements. 115.5. When the workers request permission to obstruct the track of the employee assigned but provided with the flag protection location must not permit rail movements down to the limits of the track is verified as cleared. 115.6. If the workers comply with the instructions of the employee to provide flag protection, the incident must immediately be reported to the train dispatcher, yard person, master, and property authority. 115.7. Before granting permission of the rail movements with the limitation, the employee must determine while the track of the movement is located, verify that all contract equipment and the personnel are clear of the track. 115.8. The event of the occurs that might interfere with the safe operation of the employee must take the immediate action for the radio communication to stop all movements moving in the limits of the provided the warning of the approach of the train in the event of the radio failure. Notify the proper authority. Employees must notify proper authority when working with the completed with for that day. The employees must not be absent themselves from the work area until revealed. Another assigned employee permission to receive from a supervisor confirmation received for the contractor that also has been completed for the day of the employee is revealed with the proper authority. Chapter 2. Signals and their uses.